And good afternoon. I'm Andy Obst. I'm the president of Fistula Solution, and I'm here to tell you about the Limpet, which is the next generation of ostomy incision therapy. So ostomy and surgery incisions have very high complication rates, and there is an unmet need for a higher performance standard of care. The Limpet is a novel and better solution which provides active therapy to improve healing and prevent complications and infections. We founded Fistula Solution to commercialize some of my wife's innovative ideas, and I'm proud to say they're currently distributed by 3M Company. However, today we're focused on the Limpet, which is a much larger opportunity for our business. It's an inflection point and an opportunity to create a whole new performance segment in the $3.5 billion ostomy care market. And yes, the name is inspired by the mollusk. From watching my kids try to pry these little creatures off rocks, I realized they have a very tenacious sort of attachment mechanism, and that's very similar to our device. As background, an ostomy is a surgical procedure that happens to about 100,000 patients a year in the United States. After the surgery, the patient is left with a stoma that looks something like this, and they manage their intestinal effluent by attaching an adhesive ostomy pouch to the skin around the stoma. This is a procedure that has a very high complication rate, and the complications can happen to the stoma itself, you see some examples here, or to the tissue around the stoma. The additional per patient cost of these complications can be up to $78,000 per patient, primarily due to readmissions and extended hospital stays. It's estimated to be a multi-billion-dollar problem in the United States. The current standard of care is the ostomy pouch. This is a passive therapy that has some failure modes. It can fail at the seal point due to moisture and also simply due to the weight of a full pouch. In contrast, the Limpet is an active ostomy incision therapy that uses negative pressure or vacuum suction technology to attach to the patient's tissue around the stoma. That attachment mechanism stabilizes the incision and facilitates healing. And that therapy in the tissue around the stoma prevents complications. As an added benefit, the secure attachment prevents leaks, and we get a 7-day wear time out of the device, which is significantly longer than a standard ostomy pouch. The total available market for ostomy care is $3.5 billion and includes 1 million patients in the US and another 700,000 in Europe. Our marketing and sales strategy is to target the healthcare providers for those new ostomy patients as our beachhead market. By providing better outcomes, we will develop loyalty among not only the clinicians, but also those patients, which will carry over to the time where the patients are established ostomies, and we can generate recurring sales to them in the outpatient arena. We've been developing devices since 2018, custom building devices to help patients and demonstrate feasibility. We've seen very positive results from those prototypes, and we have filed utility patents in the United States and in Europe. Our commercialization pathway is driving towards a US inpatient launch. And just last week, we submitted an NIH grant proposal for a big chunk of our work. And yes, we're part of the Pat Dillon team. The rest of the people on the team are my wife, Mary Ann Obst. She is our visionary, and frankly, she's our inventive genius. She's got deep experience in the ostomy and wound care space, and she's a leader on the complex abdominal reconstruction team at Regent Hospital in St. Paul. I'm the founder and president of Fistula Solution. I've got 25 years of leadership experience in manufacturing and technology, and I've commercialized 3 ostomy and fistula care products and launched them in the United States and in Europe. The Limpet is the next generation of ostomy incision management devices. Our vision is to become the worldwide performance leader in ostomy and fistula care. We're in the early stages of fundraising, and we're pursuing a $600,000 seed round to execute our commercialization pathway. I really appreciate the opportunity to present. Do you have any questions?
Judges, we have 1:45.
What's the regulatory pathway you're going to have to take? Is it a 510K you'll need, or are there similar products out there that you can use?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I actually have a slide on that talks about our plan, but we're still formulating it. We're actually planning a de novo submission to the FDA, potentially through the Safer Technologies program, which is sort of like a kiddie pool version of the Breakthrough Devices designation. But we need to confirm that path, and we're looking to NAMSA to help us in this. They're a bunch of smart folks, and we really need their help to not only have the regulatory piece, but also the reimbursement, because the initial beachhead is in the inpatient segment, but the larger market is frankly on the outpatient side.
You mentioned reimbursement. Is it possibly covered under existing reimbursement?
It's a great question. I don't have a good answer for you. There are other incision management devices on the market, not for this particular application. And they do have very favorable reimbursement. So it is potentially a path. But I don't have a great answer for you.
30 seconds left.
So speaking of competitors, who's closest to you?
Well, I got another slide. That's a good question. I would call them not necessarily all competitors. They're potentially channel partners. But the biggest players in the ostomy care space are Coloplast, Hollister, and Convatec. There's a number of other players out there. These folks are making ostomy pouches, and that's the biggest portion of that overall market. They also make a lot of accessory products that go with their pouches to help shore them up and keep them attached. But these are the big three out there that are potential strategics for us, but also potential competitors.